So in the most of the book, if you read standard test book, then they will talk about the deep nuclei as this chordate, putamen, and globus pallidus. And globus pallidus can be internal and external. Am I clear up to this?
Yes, sir.
Now let us just now let me show you the figure. Okay, this schematic diagram. If you look at here, this is chordate nucleus and putamen. Okay, this is the chordate, or this is the putamen, and this is the chordate. Isn't it just like horn of the sheep? Just like the horn of the sheep. So and there is also tail. Look at here, tail of the chordate nucleus is there. So this chordate nucleus and putamen together is known as striatum. So you should be knowing what is striatum means. Chordate nucleus and putamen together is known as striatum. So if we take the section, okay, if you look at here, if you cut this portion, if you cut this portion like this, okay, if you cut like this and see, then we could see this type of this schematic diagram. If you look at here, then this is the head of the chordate nucleus. This is the head of the chordate nucleus. Actually, this lock just like sheep horn, isn't it? So this portion has been clipped out, isn't it? So if you look at here, this is the tail. This is the tail. This is the head. This is the tail. And again, if you look at here, then there is putamen is there and globus pallidus is there. So this chordate nucleus, putamen, and globus pallidus, this together is known as the basal nuclear basal ganglia. And this already you are knowing that this is the internal capsule is there, this internal capsule is there, this internal capsule, the fibers are descending from these areas. Okay, this internal capsule. So again, this is the gray matter and this is the white matter. You are already knowing it. So you should be knowing this portion. Okay, this is the, if you look at here in the specimen, this putamen is shown here, and globus pallidus is shown over here, and the other area is also shown, isn't it, for the basal ganglia. So if you look at here, this type of structure, and you can see it, isn't it? This type of structure you can see this internal capsule, and this is the head of the chordate nucleus, and tail of the chordate nucleus somewhere is there, isn't it? So if you compare the figure also, it will be there. So if you got the brain like this, you could see this type of the schematic. This is the schematic diagram. This is the from the specimen itself. Now, so I have already told you that basal ganglia, basal nuclei or basal ganglia will also function in close association with other nuclei that I will discuss. What are other nuclei with which this deep nuclei and to regulate the activity. Okay. Also, one of the function of cerebellum is activity. Other function is also there, and so basically, then what type of motor activity cerebellum and basal ganglia do means they will mainly involve for the, not forgot to tell that this basal ganglia and cerebellum, basically the cerebrostery, this advanced part of the cerebellum and this basal ganglia are involved for the planning and programming of motor activity. Means they will fire before the this motor activity is executed. Means if you want to move your hand, then before moving your hand, in which pattern the hand will move, means the pattern will be already generated by the this basal ganglia and cerebellum, and they give the information to the cortex, motor cortex, and motor cortex will fire and give the information to the cortical spinal tract, and that cortical spinal tract give the information to the lower motor neuron, and accordingly the hand will be moving. Am I clear? This is the most important concept for the cerebellum, the neurocerebellum and basal ganglia. Means they are involved for the planning and programming. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. Then, unlike the cerebellum, I have told you that cerebellum, some part of the cerebellum get the information from the spinal cord, but the basal ganglia do not receive the input from spinal cord. Okay, but they means both cerebellum and basal ganglia do receive direct input from the cerebral cortex. So this is the difference. Okay, if you look at here the subtle difference, the fine difference between cerebellum and basal ganglia itself. Okay, the cerebellum will receive the spinal cerebellum, just like for spinal cerebellum they will get the information from spinal cord, but the basal ganglia will not take the information from the spinal cord. This is one difference. Another can be difference that I am going to tell you, or the common thing is that the cerebellum, this cerebrocerebellum and basal ganglia receive the information from the directly from the corticospinal, cerebral cortex. Okay. Now, how the basal ganglia this will receive the information from the cerebral cortex, that I will show you. I have already told you about the cerebellum, isn't it? How the cerebellum will get the information from the cerebral cortex. Now, if you look at here again, I want to show you the other nuclei with which the basal ganglia will work together for the execution of motor activity or for the planning and programming. If you look at here, caudate nucleus is there, and putamen is there, global pallidus is there, and this is the thalamus is there, and subthalamic nuclei is there also there. So now in the midbrain there is the substantia nigra is there. In the midbrain the substantia nigra is there. So it is divided part reticulata and part compacta. So basal ganglia nucleus also give the information or take the information from this substantia nigra, and even they will get or receive the information from the subthalamic nuclei, but they will give the new information to the subthalamic nuclei. This I will show you the circuit, then it will be more clear. But you should be knowing that these three nuclei is the main nuclei of the basal ganglia, also function along with this subthalamic nuclei and this substantia nigra, and they will be involved in the motor activity. Now, if you look at here, then what type of information will go from basal ganglia to the cerebral cortex? So I have told you that basal ganglia receive the information from the cerebral cortex, isn't it? I have told you. Basal ganglia receive the information from the cerebral cortex, and from this basal ganglia the information is also going to the cerebral cortex. So to and fro movement is there. The information it will take, and again it will give the information to the cerebral cortex. It will receive and then it will give to the cerebral cortex. Then what type of the information? The information will be given by the basal ganglia. It can be facilitatory or it can be the inhibitory. And in between that, they will relay the information to the thalamus. They will relay the information to the thalamus. You are already knowing that. Whether it has been taught or not, I do not know. But your main function of thalamus is relay station. Okay, main function of thalamus is relay station. You write on that also. Main function of thalamus is relay station. So depending upon direct and indirect pathway from the basal ganglia, direct and indirect pathway is there in the basal ganglia. They will either give facilitatory or inhibitory information to the cerebral cortex via the thalamic nucleus. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So main thing is that I have told you this basal ganglia receive the information from cerebral cortex, and from the basal ganglia the information will also go to the cerebral cortex. It may be facilitatory, means excite the cerebral cortex, or it may inhibit the cerebral cortex, and in between that there is thalamic. Through the thalamus the information is going, and depending upon that either facilitator or inhibitory, direct and indirect pathway is there. Now I'll show you again the pathway in more detail. Okay, Now, if you look at here again, this is again and more detail. The basal nuclei receive input from all cerebral cortex. I have already told you that basal nuclei receive the information from cerebral cortex. Means almost all the part from almost all part of this cerebral cortex, they will receive the information and they will send the information back to the cerebral cortex, mainly on the premotor and prefrontal cortex area by the thalamus. So the input and output information, input almost all the part of the cerebral cortex, output they will mainly give on the premotor and prefrontal cortical areas, the thalamus. So you are already knowing this premotor area is for planning and programming, isn't it? Motor cortex, they will execute the or they will send the information by this corticospinal tract to the lower motor neuron, but premotor area is mainly involved in planning and programming. So it shows that basal ganglia or basal nuclei is mainly involved in the planning and programming. Am I clear? And another prefrontal cortex, what is the implication of this prefrontal cortex? This is for the cognition. Okay, this is for cognition. So when there is something the blast or something unusual happens, then this prefrontal cortex will be knowing that it's time to run away, isn't it? So basal ganglia again gives the information to the prefrontal cortex, means it is involved in the cortical function. So cortical functioning also. So I will show you again. This is for the planning and program. This is the cortical function. So activity in the putamen is related to the occurrence of the movement of body, whereas activity in the caudate nucleus is related to eye movement. So if there is increase in activity of the putamen, means now it means there is the movement of the body. So planning and programming is going on for the movement of the body. If there is activity in caudate nucleus, then it shows that planning and programming for the eye movement. Okay, am I clear? So, so PEP is there. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay, now let me go in more detail on this. Also, an important component of cortical input to the strat origins in the motor cortex, I have already told you. Now, if you look at, if you want to know the pathway from where this from the motor cortex to the information, how the information from motor cortex coming to the basal ganglia, it is via the corticostriatal projection. So from the corticostriatal projection, basically from the five layer 5 of the cortex, motor cortex, the neurons, they will project to the stratum. They will project to the stratum, and this is known as corticostriatal projection. So now I am going detail on detail. Okay, the pathway. So I am mentioned the pathway. I have already told you that there is to and fro movement, or the pathway is there from motor cortex to the basal ganglia, from basal ganglia to the motor cortex. Now this is showed that how the information from the motor cortex is going to the basal ganglia. Means from the layer 4 of the cortex, motor cortex, the information will relate to the stratum, and the name of the pathway is corticostriatal pathway. Now again, when the information go to the stratum, this is stratum means, I have told you stratum means putamen and caudate, isn't it? Then this caudate and putamen together influence the neurons in the VA and VR. What is that? VA and VR nuclei of the thalamus by two pathways, that is direct and indirect pathways. So I will be discuss more detail on this. Okay, how the information from this stratum is going that ultimately to the this nucleus of the thalamus. Main action of the, I have told you already, main action of basal ganglia is on the motor areas of the cortex by the way of thalamus. Mainly which part of the motor cortex? And can anyone tell me the main action of the? I have told you that main action of the basal ganglia is on the motor areas of the cortex by the way of thalamus. Now, anyone can tell me which motor areas it is talking on? Anyone? Can you tell me? Sorry?
Premotor and
Okay,
prefrontal area.
premotor and prefrontal areas, isn't it? So mainly this motor area means premotor area, isn't it? So it's mainly talking on and then I have told you that an important components of cortical input to the striatum origins the motor cortex. Which motor cortex actually it is talking on means almost all the part of the motor cortex. Okay, it is talking on. Now this is the pathway. This can be complicated for you. Now I'll show this from the beginning. I have to be, but it's slightly complicated. Is there? Now I have already taken from the another book. This is another book, and somehow it is shown clearly, or somehow it is difficult, but it is simpler as compared to this one. Now look at here. This is the circuit. Okay, this is the connection that depicts that shows the influence of the motor cortex on the basal ganglia and the influence of the basal ganglia on the motor cortex. Okay, this is to and fro movement is there. Now if you look at here, there's I have told you that this from the motor areas, from almost all the motor areas, I have told you the information will be going to the basal ganglia, isn't it? And the basal ganglia is caudate and putamen together is known as stratum, isn't it? I have told you this. What is the name of the pathway that is going from the motor areas to the stratum? Anyone can tell me? Anyone can tell me what is the name of the pathway or the projection that is going from the motor areas to the basal ganglia? What is the name of this projection? Anyone can tell me what is the name of this projection?
Corticostriatal.
Sorry?
Corticostriatal pathway.
Yeah, okay, corticostriatal. Cortico means from the cortex to the striatum. So corticostriatal pathway is there. And I have already told you that, and you are already knowing that GLU means glutamate, okay? This excited neurotransmitter. And this GABA, this is the neurotransmitter, the inhibitory neurotransmitter. So you should be knowing this one also, okay? This glutamate, and this GABA, this is excitatory one, glutamate, and this GABA is inhibitory one. Now let us discuss on this pathway also. Now look at here, this slightly I want to show this one also because acetylcholine is shown over here. If you look at here, in the stratum, within the stratum, there is acetylcholine is being produced, okay? When I will discuss on the Parkinson's disease, then it has got slightly importance. So I want to mention this acetylcholine also. It is produced within this stratum also, okay? Within the stratum. Now, if you look at here, this is the projection that I've already, one of your friend, I already told you that this is corticostriatal pathway is there, and they will produce the glutamate. They will produce the glutamate, and glutamate excitatory one. If you look at here, this glutamate. Now, let us discuss firstly on the direct pathway, okay? Let us discuss on direct pathway first, then I will discuss on the indirect pathway. Now, from this pathway, the glutamate is produced, and they will excite the stratum, this caudate glutamate together, this stratum. Now, when this stratum get activated, now they will produce the GABA. Now they will produce the GABA. This GABA is inhibitory neurotransmitter, isn't it? So when this GABA production is high due to the activation of this stratum, when the GABA is being produced in tremendous amount, then what will happen to the production of GABA by this globus pallidus internal interior? Anyone can tell me if this, again I want to repeat, look at here, the GABA glutamate is production is very high. If suppose the production of glutamate is high, since it's excited neurotransmitter, so the production of GABA from this stratum will be high. So when the production of GABA from the stratum is high, what will happen to the production of this GABA from this globus pallidus interior part? Low or high?
Low.
Low. Good. Very good. So when it get when it's get excited, it produce glutamate. So glutamate excited one, they will glutamate, and this caudate and glutamate will produce the maximum GABA, isn't it? GABA is inhibitory, so means it will inhibit. This will inhibit the secretion of GABA from this globus pallidus interior. So what will happen if this production is low? Then what will happen? The production of glutamate from thalamus. Anyone? If the production of GABA is low from here, obviously the production from this thalamus will be high or low?
High.
High, isn't it? So glutamate secretion will be high, and this direct pathway cause the excitation of the motor area. So if you look at here, this pathway is there. So ultimately, the input from this direct pathway to the cortic premotor area will be excitatory one. So disinhibition, inhibition of an inhibition. If you look at the inhibition of an inhibition occurs at the level of thalamus, isn't it? This inhibition of this inhibition. I have told you this is inhibiting neurotransmitter and inhibition of by this one, isn't it? So disinhibition is occurring at the level of thalamus. So direct pathway causes the excitation of the motor areas, especially the premotor areas. Now let me discuss on the indirect pathway. Now again, let me discuss on the indirect pathway. What will happen into the indirect pathway? If you look at here, again, corticostriatal pathway is there. The information is coming to this globus pallidus, to this stratum or this caudate and putamen nucleus. So it will excite this one. So when this get excited, this pathway, the stratum get excited, then what will happen to the production of this GABA? It will be high, isn't it? It will be high. So when this GABA production is high, then the GABA from this globus pallidus external will be low, isn't it? Low. So when it is low, then what will happen? The production of glutamate from this subthalamic nucleus will be high. This will be high. So when this is high, then what will happen? The production of this GABA from this one will be low or high. Anyone? You may get confused, isn't it? If you look at here again, this one this excitation, then when this stratum get excited, the GABA production from this stratum will be low or high? It will be high, isn't it? So it is high, means the production of the GABA from here will be low or high? Low, isn't it? Anyone can tell me? Anyone? Same like this, isn't it? This excitation, then this excitation, and here also secretion of this GABA will be low. Similarly, here also it will be low. So disinhibition is occurring at the level of subthalamic nuclei. But this disinhibition is occurring at the level of thalamus for the direct pathway, but disinhibition is occurring at the level of subthalamic nuclei, isn't it? Anyone? Please let me know. This was so slightly confusing. Please let me know. If you look at here, this is the glutamate, GABA, glutamate, GABA, and GABA. So disinhibition is occurring over the thalamic nuclei for the direct, but the disinhibition is occurring at the level of thalamus. Here, isn't it? Subthalamic nucleus. Anyone can tell me? Please let me know. It is clear or not?
सर त्यो इनडाइरेक्ट पाथवे एकचोटि फेरि भनिदिनु न.
Okay, हेर न यहाँ डाइरेक्ट बुझाएको थियो नि तिमीले. डाइरेक्ट glutamate is there and GABA is there and GABA is there, isn't it? So what is there when glutamate excitation or secretion is high? Then what will happen? The production of GABA from here will be high, isn't it? So it is when it is high, the production of GABA from this portion will be low. So when it is low, there will be massive production of glutamate from thalamus. Similarly, here also, if you look at here glutamate, this is common, isn't it? This look at here glutamate, GABA and GABA. Means ultimately what is happening there? Thalamus is excited, isn't it? Here also, if you look at here, this glutamate, GABA and GABA. Ultimately, what will happening there? This at the subthalamus, nuclei get excited, and they will start to release large amount of glutamate, isn't it? When the large amount of glutamate is released, then it will excite. I have told you that glutamate excited a neurotransmitter, so GABA will excite this one, globus pallidus interior. When this is being excited, then release of GABA will be more, isn't it? The GABA will be more from here. When the GABA production is more, then what will happen? That it will inhibit the thalamus, and there is a low level of the glutamate is released. So ultimately, the information will be inhibitory one. So from the direct pathway, the information that is ultimately going to the premotor area is excitatory, but the information that is going from the indirect pathway is the inhibitory one. One is that. Another is that disinhibition is occurring at the level of thalamus or direct pathway, but disinhibition is occurring at the level of subthalamic nuclei in case of indirect pathway. Now I am clear?
Yes, sir.
So now again, if you look at here also, this substantia nigra par compacta, okay, this is present in the midbrain. If you look at here again, if you look at here, then there is this, it will producing the dopamine and dopamine. So they will producing dopamine and dopamine, substantia nigra par compacta, and they will have different action on direct and indirect pathway. Okay, why they have? Because they are producing same type of neurotransmitter, that is dopamine, and they will having different action on direct and indirect pathway. Do you know why this same neurotransmitter is having different effect on indirect and direct pathway? Do you know, or they will having different action on stratum? Anyone can tell me? Dopamine is having inhibitory effect on indirect pathways stratum, but dopamine is having excitatory effect on the stratum of direct pathway. Anyone can tell me why this same type of neurotransmitter is having different effect on this stratum of direct and indirect pathway? Anyone can tell me? If you cannot tell me, then I will let you know. Actually, if you look at here acetylcholine, suppose if you think of the acetylcholine, you have already read about the acetylcholine. Some acetylcholine, if you look at this acetylcholine on heart, it will decreases the heart rate, isn't it? But acetylcholine on the intestine, it increases the motility, isn't it? You have already read. Why it is that? Same acetylcholine is having different effect. In the heart, it decreases the heart rate or it decreases the contractility of the muscle, cardiac muscle, but same acetylcholine can cause the contraction of GIT, which is due to the nature of the receptor. So, nature of the receptor that is present on the heart and the GIT is different, so they are having different effect on the muscle contraction. So similarly, the dopamine receptor that is present on direct and indirect stratum is different, so they are having different effect on the direct and indirect pathway. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Now my question is, now try to find it out which type of there are dopamine receptor 1, 2 and 3 is there, okay, D1, D2 and D3. Now my question on you is that try to find it out which type of dopaminic receptor, either it is D1, D2, D3, that is present in direct and indirect pathway. Please try to find it out. This is a Viva question that will be asked. Now already I have told you this pathway, activation stratum causes disinhibition of neuron of the VA and glial nuclei of the thalamus. This I want to again show you this one. I am talking of disinhibition is occurring at the level of thalamus. So disinhibition excites the VA and glial nuclei that's in excitatory connection to the prefrontal, premotor and supplementary motor area, and thus the input to the influence motor planning. Okay, so motor planning because it is giving information to the premotor area and prefrontal and supplementary motor area. So this is the thing that you should be knowing, and ultimately from the premotor area and prefrontal cortex, the information will go to the cortex, motor cortex, okay, primary motor cortex, and that will discharge or they will give the information to the cortical spinal tract or cortical bulb or nucleus, and depending upon that the voluntary movement will be occurring. So main thing is that they are involved in the planning of the motor activity. Now indirect pathway also, if you look at the indirect pathway, striatal axon activation result in disinhibition of subthalamic nuclei that I have showed you, isn't it? This disinhibition occurring at the level of subthalamic nuclei. So when this disinhibition occurring at subthalamic nuclei, this get excited. So ultimately, what is happening there? Ultimately, this causes the inhibition in the level of thalamus. However, in direct pathway, the thalamus get excited, but in case of this indirect pathway, thalamus get inhibited. So this is the thing that you should be knowing. The overall action, I have already told you this one, but I want to repeat it also. The overall action of direct pathway through the basal ganglia to the motor area of the cortex is to enhance the motor activity for the planning and programming, and the overactivity of the indirect pathway is to reduce the activity neuron in the motor areas of the cerebral cortex, so they will be balanced. Okay, so which one is taking the upper hand, either direct or indirect pathway? And I'll discuss on the disease also, the Parkinson disease also, which pathway is more active, which why there is difficulties in initiation of the movement in Parkinson disease, that I'll discuss on the next class. Okay, right now I'm not going to go on detail on that, but you should be knowing that if you look at here, direct and indirect pathway, they have got different function on the motor areas, premotor areas, mainly the premotor areas. And I have already discussed you that the substantia nigra compacta is releasing dopamine, and they are having different action. This dopamine is released, and they are having different effects on the different pathway. Depending upon direct or indirect, they will either excite or inhibit the stratum of the direct and indirect pathway. Now, if you look at here, now over what is the function? Okay. Now, if you look at again here, the direct and indirect pathway dots opposing action, increasing the activity either of these pathway might lead to balance in the motor activity. Means, so in our normal physiological condition, there will be the always excitation, how this excitatory information is going from the direct, and indirectly the inhibitory information is going to the premotor areas. So if due to any disease condition, just like in Parkinson disease, if this pathway is either too much excited or too much inhibited or too much influence in either pathway, then this will give the pathological imbalance in the motor control. Okay, if you look at here now slightly, if you look at here, the relative overactivity indirect pathway will result in paucity, means scarcity of movement. Okay, scarcity of movement. So if the indirect pathway is taking upper hand, then hypokinesia. Kinesia means movement, hypo means low. So low, or the scarcity of movement, or the movement activity of the movement of hand, leg, body, this will be less. If another is, if there is underactivity of this indirect pathway, then there will uncontrolled movement will occur, and that is known as hypokinesia. That I will also discuss on different diseases also. There's chorea disease, or this hemiplegismus. Okay, that I will discuss on next class also. So which pathway is taking upper hand, which pathway is not taking upper hand, or which pathway is having pathological condition, or which component of the basal ganglia is being affected. Depending upon that, there will hypokinesia or hyperkinesia will occur. Now the main function I have already told you, the main function of the basal ganglia is for planning and programming of the motor movement. Okay, planning and programming of the motor movement, and this is mediated. Ultimately, they will give the information to the this premotor area, and that premotor area will give the information to the motor area. So motor area have the give the information to the corticospinal tract, and that will influence the movement. So the overall of the basal ganglia will be mediated by the this corticospinal tract. The basal mainly influence the motor cortex. Okay, mainly influence the motor cortex. Sorry. Okay, so basal ganglia mainly influence the motor cortex. Okay, this should be first. Okay, now if you look at here, the main output of the main output of the basal ganglia mediated by the basal ganglia body is mediated by the corticospinal tract. What it means that actually this means that information will go to the premotor area, then the motor area, and from there corticospinal tract get origin. Okay, like that. In addition to the role in the motor control, the basal ganglia contributes to affect and cognitive function. I have already told you the information is going to the prefrontal cortex, so it is also for the cognitive function. Okay, it's also for the cognitive function, and another is that the for the eyeball movement. Because if you look at it, I just forgot to mention here also superior colliculus. The information is going to also the superior colliculus for the motor movement, actually the eye movement. Okay, this path. Anyone who can tell me what is this path? This one to show you. This big arrow is shown here. Anyone who can tell me? Anyone who can tell me what this big arrow indicates? Anyone who can tell me what?
Corticospinal.
Good, very good. This is the corticospinal. Okay, this cortic upper motor neuron, corticobulbar or corticospinal. That and its influence. It has influence on this spinal cord, the brainstem, and the spinal cord and brainstem. There is lower motor neuron is there. So the ultimately is corticospinal tract or corticobulbar tract. They will influence the nucleus on this anterior horn cell or this cranial neurons on the brainstem, and that is the source for the control of the lower motor neurons. They are itself the lower motor neuron, and they will cause the movement of the limbs. Now again, I want to show this figure. Okay, this slightly. Okay, this can be good for you to know it. Okay, look at here. It's one slightly want to show this figure. Want to show that planning and programming. Okay, now suppose if you want to I want the ball. Suppose if there is ball is there and you want to have that ball with you, then what will happen is that here is how to get it. So your board is forming planning and programming over there. Okay, now vision also, if you look at here, you will see the information is going to this area, and from hearing also ball information is going here. Then you try to move. You want to make the strategy. Now, what is ultimately happening is that now the information from all those information that came from the cortex, the information is going to the basal ganglia. So you are going of the information from the basal ganglia. The information is going to the basal ganglia. Okay, now from the basal ganglia, now this is the corticostriatal pathway, and ultimately the information from the basal ganglia is going to the premotor area. Okay, and this premotor area, then the motor area, then you could grasp. Now this is the corticospinal tract. This want to show that firing of the corticospinal tract. So ultimately you can grab the this ball. So you want to grab the hand, grab the ball. So if you look at here, so firing at this cerebrocerebellum, part of the cerebrocerebellum, and the firing of this basal ganglia will occur first, as compared to the premotor area or the motor area itself. So when they will fire, then that information will give to this premotor area and ultimately the motor area, and there will finally the execution of the movement will occur. Am I clear? So you should not forget that the basal ganglia is involved in planning and programming of voluntary movement. This is the most important, okay? Planning and programming. And one of the component of cerebellum also, cerebrocerebellum is also involved in planning and programming. So they together, this basal ganglia and cerebrocerebellum, they together give the information to the motor areas of the cerebral cortex. And according to pre-planned motor activity, they will execute the pre-planned motor activities. So if you want to do an activity, then firstly the information from basal ganglia and then cerebellum will go to the cortex, and then there will be execution of the voluntary movement. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you look at here, now this is also shows the comparison in between cerebellum and the basal ganglia. I have basically component cerebellum. Cells in both basal ganglia and cerebellum are involved in unconscious planning and discharge in advance of movement. So this is the thing that I am repeating more and several times. So when the actual movement, when you actually move your fingers, both the premotor areas and prime motor active. The premotor areas take over to the take over to provide the proper timing and pattern to execute the desired movement. So premotor area controls the motor area and provides the willing to initiate the body to act. The conscious can then choose to act or not. What the background has already been laid means this means that I have already told you. I have told you that this one I want to show. The planning and programming is already being made by this cerebellum and basal ganglia. So they are already executed. They are already fired. The fired information is going to the motor areas, and if you want to execute or not, it will depend entirely on your voluntary control. If the situation is not good, then you will not execute voluntarily, but already the information that or the thing or motor activity that you want to do is already being set up by the cerebellum and the basal ganglia. Whether you want to execute or not, it will entirely depend upon the motor area that is present in your cerebral cortex. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Anyone, please let me know. 5 of you, it is clear or not? If not, then I will be revising or I will ask you a few questions. Don't go outside, okay? I'm taking your attendance. Don't go outside. Don't leave this chat box. If you then you will be absent. Now I will ask you a few questions related to this basal ganglia. Some of you I will ask you. Abhinav Kumar Jha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, very good. Now, can you tell me the various nuclei of the thalamus? Sorry, various nuclei of basal ganglia. Can you tell me the nucleus of basal ganglia?
Yes, sir.
Tell me.
Putamen,
Subthalamic.
subthalamic nucleus.
The thalamic nuclei is not the basal nuclei. They are associated with the
globus.
Globus, globus pallidus, caudate, and putamen. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good, very good. Now I will ask another question to Dilasa Pandit. What she is leaving? She left. Shia. Share.
Yes, sir.
Please tell Dilasa Pandit to contact me or try to find it out why she is leaving.
हुन्छ sir.
Karuna Sual. Karuna, where are you? Karuna Sual. Karuna Sual. She is not. There. Karuna. Is active.
Basal ganglia and cerebellum.
Cerebrocerebellum, isn't it? Good, very good. Good, very good. Now I am going out. Thank you very much for your patience, for your understanding. If I have got any confusion, you can ask your share and relay the information to me. Now, for now, bye.